The chair recognizes now Mr. Scott from Georgia.
Mr. Chairman, and
Mr. Scott from
welcome,
Georgia.
governors. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, in my state of Georgia's legislature, Georgia's Speaker of the House, David Ralston, who is a Republican, a good friend of mine, and he sent a letter to Congress in August, just a few weeks ago. And in this letter, Speaker Ralston is asking Congress for more financial help. And I request at this time, Mr. Chairman, permission to enter Speaker David Ralston's record into the letter for the record.
Without objection.
Now, in his letter, Speaker Ralston, and let me just say, he is a friend. He and I worked together for many years during my days as a state senator in Georgia and as I was chairman of the Senate Rules Committee. So this is a good man here. And he's a very conservative Republican. He's asking Congress in this letter for $500 billion for states, and he writes, inflexible financial assistance, and he notes this. He says that the reserve funds or rainy day funds is a part of the fiscal toolbox indeed, but he gives us this warning. We must not rely solely on declining reserve funds or rainy day funds, for it is unsustainable. So, Governor Walsh, let me start with you. Given the uncertainty of the trajectory of this virus so far, are you confident that reserve funds or rainy day funds can sustain these states during this COVID-19 crisis?
No, absolutely not. And as I said, Representative Scott, we had percentage-wise to our state's budget, one of the most robust in the nation, rainy day funds, but it can't take this. It was just too deep.
Now, let me go to another question. In the CARES Act that we worked on and passed in March, it included $150 billion in assistance to help the states and the local governments. However, in my state of Georgia, and I think it's applicable to other states, only 30%, right now, only 30% of that funding for local and city governments in Georgia have been allocated, which leaves 70% of the funding unallowed. And this is despite deadlines for cities to receive and use these funds before the end of the year. Now, we got trouble in River City here, and this is plaguing us. So you governors, tell us, is there any problem? Are there restrictions or limitations? What is it that is slowing down our state's abilities to get badly needed funds to our state, to our local governments and cities who need it so desperately? And what can we do to help you? I'll start with you, Governor Walsh, and other governors. This is a big problem.
Well, first of all, and I would just say I appreciate the focus on this, and we should be. I think what you're seeing is a data lag in spending allocation and getting it out there. I can only speak for Minnesota, but the money is out there in the locals. They're doing it. One of the things is that we planned the whole budget. You're not going to see September's, October's, November's, and December spending right now. So basically, if you go back to where we got this and we're looking at the 6 months of this pandemic, we've got 4 more months that we've got to deal with, and that's where we've allocated. Now, I heard Representative Wagner. I'm not going to speak for problems that are out there. I can speak from the state of Minnesota. We are allocating, paying in a timely manner and are budgeted to December 31st. My biggest fear, Representative, is we fall off a cliff.
Well, thank you very much. And I will end my comments with this. Thank you all very much. Your testimonies have opened our eyes to much of what we were only dimly aware. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.